Okay. Class number 527. Enlightenment. And then in parentheses, I go into the Father. Now, this is going to be a deep dive back over into a lot of the stuff that we talked about over the last few months, and we even went through this little booklet one day called All Things Are Yours by Lillian Dwarf. And she has this, for lack of a better term, I call it a formula. And she has this formula for how she is able to derive at the answers, or what we call resolutions. And she starts out with, well, first of all, we need to understand something. You always start out with the answer. You always start out with the answer. But the problem is, we start trying to go get the answer. And that creates what Alice was talking about last week. I make peace and I create evil. So as long as we're running around out here trying to come up with the answer, we're making evil. We're not creating peace, because as long as you are looking for something, it is looking for you. Case in point, the example that I used once before of the donkey, and they want the donkey to keep pulling the load, so he has this long stick hanging off the top of his head about right out here where he can't get to a carrot that's hanging on the string. And he keeps trying to get to the carrot, and the more he keeps trying to get to the carrot, the more he keeps moving forward. And the more he keeps moving forward, the more he keeps pulling the load. The more we keep looking to get the answer, the more we keep pulling the load. And so the more we pull the load, the more we go further away from what Jesus was saying when he said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Most of the burdens that we are carrying are not light. They're heavy. Some of the burdens we're carrying are burdens that we've had, that parents taught us, that teachers taught us, that the people out in the world have taught us, and we've been pulling this thing. And we keep trying to get to the answer. Case in point, I was told as a young kid, grow up and go to college and get a good job, and everything's going to be all right. Now, I was growing up in a world that was the same kind you were growing up in. And so everybody on this class grew up in the same kind of world that I grew up in. That was racism, and you can teach in this kind of a school, but you can't teach over here in this one. Y'all all remember that. You know what we went through. And those of us who didn't go to college, then it was, okay, well, you can get a good job was what? In West Virginia, it was working in the coal mine. You weren't going to work anywhere near any bank, on a bank with a cash money and all of that. If you didn't have the degree, you were going to work at a gas station, changing tires and what, but you weren't going to take money until they decided that they felt like they could trust you. So you're carrying this burden of trying to get to what the slaves call freedom. They didn't know they had freedom. They had no idea that they had freedom. They had been picked up in a country and brought across the water in a ship. A lot of them died on the ship. And then they got here and got treated like worse than animals. Let's put it that way. And so, therefore, you're constantly pulling that burden. After a while and by, when the morning comes, the Lord is going to work it out. Those are the little church meetings that they had. The Lord is going to work it out, and God will fix it. And so, yesterday on Facebook, I think Kenny posted something on Facebook yesterday about a burden and a yoke. And we all know that a yoke is you're yoked to something. And the yoke is like a yoke of our team of oxen, but they got all these cords that the guys hold. They're all yoked together so that one won't go off to the right and the other one go to the left. And so the yoke is, as far as I'm concerned, the guidance of the Father. Because the Father is going to guide you where? Paths of righteousness. Now, it's always, and I'm going to continue manifesting this for His name's sake. And in the Aramaic, it says He guides you into paths of righteousness, but in His name's sake. That's King James. The Aramaic says for His reputation. That kind of changes it up a little bit, doesn't it? See, God's got a reputation of leading people into paths of justice. But who knew how to let God lead them into a path of justice when they're coming along and they're pulling this yoke that they think is satanic or evil? I got to act right or this is going to happen. I've got to act right or that's going to happen. So they're pulling this yoke. And then the burden that they're carrying is this heavy burden. But the burden is really, all I got to carry is life. If I be lifted up, if I lift up the truth that I am, I will draw all men. I'll draw the manifestation unto me. So, as we think that way and realize that, we are thinking in line with how we're supposed to think. Remember now, we're always going to be thinking one way or the other because we have free will. Now, I want to take the time right now to go back into Lillian DeWater's book, The Practice of Reality. I go to this often because I want to go back and share with you again something that is the foundation of where we really are, but it doesn't always look like that. But we are always right here with what I'm getting ready to share with you. Number one, she says, draw a circle on a separate piece of paper to be used for a definite and practical illustration. And in the circle, draw two horizontal lines so as to divide it into three equal parts. In the first part of the circle, if you drew two lines straight across, like here's a circle, you draw a line at the top, and you draw one, so you got space at the top, space in the middle, and space in the at the end. Now, in this particular case, as Kenny said, we don't worry about what comes in the middle. In this particular case, not worried, but we got to pay very close attention to what comes in the middle because that is determining the outcome of everything that you do all day, every day. Now, in that first space across the circle, she says, I am the self. I am the Father, God, perfection. I am the absolute reality, truth. I am spirit, being, life, love, mind, creator, body, universe. I am the one, totality, all. She's absolutely right. You can't change that. That's how God has created it. God the all, the perfection, has placed itself in its creation and said, this is who I am. This is who you are. There's nothing you can do to change that. So, any of us, we've gone over this a couple of weeks now saying, I'm not afraid to be Satan, but I'm afraid to be God because he might do this. Well, he's not. God can't do anything except be what God is in you. That's it. Now, when Morgan Freeman said, we don't worry about what comes in the middle, in this particular case, we don't worry about it, but we need to know that what's coming in the middle is creating either peace or it's making evil. Or let me reverse it. It's making peace or it's creating evil. In the middle is where the donkey keep going after the carrot, or the donkey has accepted the fact that the carrot is mine and I don't have to do anything to go get it. That's different. Now, this is what comes in the middle. The second position of the Trinity is called the Son. And this position of ourselves is our activity, our consciousness, or awareness, our free will. This is where we think, feel, see, hear, taste, smell, live, and act. Presumably, we have all discovered that our mind can think good thoughts or otherwise. We can make good or create evil. Here then is the place of light and darkness, waking and sleeping. In fact, free will. So in this middle space, this is what I'm saying now, this is what's come in the middle, as Morgan Freeman said. I am the Son. I am consciousness, awareness, activity, thinking, feeling, hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, living, loving, creating. I am free will. That's the most important part, because when you think right, in alignment with I am the Father, then in that third space, here's the Holy Ghost. I am insight. I am revelation, illumination. I am the experience of myself. I am the Christ. I am heaven. Now, when in that middle part, when I decide, as Jesus said, I go unto the Father, that means I am thinking from that perfect state, which is God. I am Christ. Paul said, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. He didn't just come up with that. It was revealed to him that his mind was the mind of Christ because he was thinking, I am the Father. I go into the Father means I go into the consciousness of perfection. No matter what is going on, perfection is always right here, and I need to tap into how this is perfect. When I awakened this morning, and I was thinking about some of the dreams I had during the night, and I said, wait a minute. And I saw certain things going on in the dreams, and I'm not going to take the time to go into any of that right now, but I saw this stuff going on, and I was trying to fix it. And when I woke up and I said, God, why would you put us in a world that everywhere you look, everything is just a mess. Everything, everywhere you look, everything you see, everything you hear, it's just a mess. It's chaotic. It's all of this and that and the other. And it's like, what is all this? And I was laying there, and before I knew it, I didn't even have time to think. And before I knew it, what came out of my mouth real loud, I'm glad there was nobody here in the house with me, because I was laying there and I said, I demand the truth. I don't want to see no more of this foolishness. This is craziness. I'm out here with stuff all day long, fixing stuff and trying to keep things real, trying to keep things peaceful. And then I thought about it. I said, yeah, but truth is, I am the truth. And how I'm seeing it is how it's going to be appearing. And so I need to change how I'm seeing all of it. But then I'm sitting there thinking he leads me and guides me into paths of justice for his reputation. What is God's reputation? Perfection. So what am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be going into the Father. You know how when you were a little kid and you went to your parents and, whatever was wrong, you went to your parents and your parents said, I'll fix it. You just always went to your parents. I don't care whether it was a cut, a scrape, somebody did me wrong, somebody took my ice cream. I don't care what it was. You went to the parent, at least I did. And my mom or my aunt fixed it. I go to the Father, and it looks like he fixes it. But the Father doesn't fix it. It's the fact that I thought I was prodigal, and I went, wait a minute, I can't fix this. I'm going to the Father. And bing, it's resolved. Now, how it's resolved in what we call out here, I don't have anything to do with that. I have all to do with going unto the Father. When I go to the Father and say, let there be, or I demand perfection, that wasn't something that I thought about. It just popped out of me. It was revealed to me, if I go to the Father, it's fixed. Not he's going to fix it. If I go to the Father, it's fixed. So, with that being said, well, that was a long introduction, wasn't it? With that being said, we start out with the answer. This is that formula that he talks about. The answer, the problem, and the solution. So when we start out with the answer. Well, what is the answer to every so-called problem that we supposedly have? I am the answer. I can't get around it. That's the way it's set up. I am the answer to every situation that comes about in my life or my life's experience. Now, he says the problem is human experience. There appears to be something needed. I'm quite sure y'all have noticed that. I don't care what it is. There's always something needed all the time. And so, what is the resolution of that? And she calls it make a wish. I call it pray. I also call it let there be. Just like I said this morning, I demand the truth. Let there be. Now, ask and it is given. Remember we said that. When do we receive? Immediately. We go into the Father. My first thought when there's a problem is I go into the Father. Didn't used to be that. And I don't go to the Father asking him to fix something. I go to the Father to feel like it's all right. I go to the Father knowing I am the answer to this particular situation. And so, therefore, I receive the revelation that not only am I the giver of the gift, I am also the giver. I am giving myself the realization of the fact that the Father is my consciousness, my awareness that the truth is always there. You shall know the truth shall make you free. And there is only the now. So when I go to the Father, it is now. I realize I am going to, let's go back to the little circle, I'm going to myself. Because there's only one self. And the one self is the self of everybody. I don't care who they are. And so the way for me to rid myself of a problem with you is to make sure that I know the truth, that I can't have a problem with myself because you are myself. I don't care what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the truth all the time because you are the self, the same self that I am. That's how Jesus could say, love your neighbor as yourself. Because all you ever loving is you. That's it. Now, in John 6, verse 63, he says, the flesh profits nothing. But the words I speak, they are spirit and they are life. So this is where, remember the great prosperity messages, the charismatic, all the people that came out, watch what you're saying, have what you say. What they should have been saying is watch what you think you are. Because what you think you are is causing you to say something. They didn't say that. They were saying you can have what you say. And how many people are still running around from the 70s and 80s making statements like, I am a millionaire. Affirmations. I am this. I am that. I am all this kind of stuff. I am, who was it? Pat Robertson. Remember him? I am the president of the United States. Remember when he ran for president? He got like 0% of the vote. That's what I'm saying. They took us off on this wild, what do you call that thing? Roller coaster. And we were up and down. And some of them had us, forget about, Christmas is you worshiping the tree. And so don't decorate the tree and don't do this and the Easter bunny and eggs and all this little thing. And then they took all into that craziness, all that kind of stuff. When in reality, all somebody had to do. Oh, by the way, and they told us that metaphysics was of the devil. They told us that mysticism was of the devil. All that stuff was of the devil. Never telling us Hebrews 2:14, the devil is destroyed, he and his little world. Why? Because of the cross. Jesus crossed it all out. He was a partaker of flesh and blood, and through his death destroyed him who had the power of death, that is the devil. Now, nobody told us that because they didn't understand it. And so they had us running around here trying to do this to the devil. Most of the time we were taught that we were talking to the devil. And nobody ever told us, let's see, now are we the sons of God. Nobody told us, as he was in this world, so are we. But here Jesus is sitting here trying to tell us to realize that we're the same as he is. But yet here the church from back then is constantly telling us that, no, that's blasphemy. The church is telling us to do all kinds of shenanigans that have nothing to do with the truth. I am the truth. And nobody told us that. And so, now here we are. Instead of making peace, what are we doing? Creating evil. The words I speak, they are spirit and they are life. So when I realize that I am the I, the Christ, the I am perfection, God, and I am in the middle, I am the Son of God. See why I said, we need to concern ourselves with what comes in the middle. Because that is where your activity is. And how you think from that Son of God perspective is supposed to be in alignment with what God is, perfection. So all you're ever thinking in line with is your consciousness that you are perfect. And you, the Son of God, is acting out of that perfection. So therefore, what's going to come out? That the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Whose sight? Yours. Oh God, my strength, my deliverer, my peace, my righteousness. You see what I'm saying? Your consciousness is your righteousness because your consciousness is God. You can't change that. As the Son of God, you can act out of that consciousness or you can make evil. So the words I speak, what am I saying? I am the Son of God. I am the Christ. I am the truth. The words that I'm saying, they're spirit and they're life. How else did Jesus say? My subjects will obey me. They hear me. They know me. They know that they're not going to follow the voice of a stranger. Why do they obey? Because the word becomes flesh. And as I speak that word from the truth of who I am, it becomes flesh. That's what she's saying. She says, make a wish. That's what she's saying. The wish that you make, the statement that you make, you're making it from who you are, identity. That's the most powerful word in your whole consciousness. Who you are determines your experience, and you're going to talk like it. Now, when's the last time you saw we don't make those anymore, but a 4-star general not realizing that he has all authority over everything, all of his subjects, all of his soldiers, everybody that's under his command. He has the ultimate control over that, and they have to obey. Now, I want you to see this. This is really powerful. When that man comes to Jesus and he says, I am a captain. Now I've got all these soldiers under me. They have to obey. Then he looks at Jesus and he says, but I realize I and everybody else is under your authority. And if you speak the word only, I know that my son will be healed. What was he saying? Not only am I under your authority, what authority is that? He's not talking about the Jesus authority. He's talking about he is putting himself in the son position, and he is saying to Jesus, I realize that you know that you are the Father. And so I'm thinking in line with that Father consciousness, and you speak the word. And that's why Jesus looks at him and says, I've not seen faith like this in all of Israel. Why? Because they would not put themselves under the authority of the Father. They thought that they were something other than. And as long as they thought that they were something other than, they could not have the faith to speak. This man says, I'm not even worthy for you to come under my roof. But I tell you what, I'm going to put myself under your authority, and I'm going to let you make a command, and the subjects are going to obey. That's the only way you get a demonstration from the Christ, Son of God. That's the only way you get a demonstration from the perfection of the Father. You have now decided, as the Son, I am under your authority. You know what? I'm tired of being out here in the far country trying to make things work out. I'm coming under your authority. Okay, well, what is it that you want? I want health. I want wealth. I want wisdom. I want prosperity. I want to see the world the right way. And what happens? You start seeing it the right way. Because you come under the authority of perfection, which you are, by the way. So now, here's the big one. I want to make a withdrawal out of my bank. So based on who I am, the Son of God and God, I have a right to go to, she says that soul is the bank. Remember Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you? That means that Charles Fillmore called the kingdom of heaven the kingdom of ideas, spiritual ideas. Joel Goldsmith used to tell Virginia Stevenson all the time, catch the idea. So when you pray, just think about it. You now all of a sudden you're saying, oh, I'm sorry, not when you pray. When you make this statement out of Mark 11, verse 23, whosoever shall say to the mountain, be thou removed. The mountain has to move because you, son, have also gone unto the Father, and you're telling it to go, it has to obey because it is under your authority. Let me say that again. It is under your authority. Whatever appears to be trouble is under your authority. So when you go in and you say, well, the kingdom of heaven is within me, that means every idea is within me. So what I'm going in here doing is I am going to make a withdrawal of one of the ideas, you see. That means I'm going to command, demand, make a wish, whatever you call it. I want this. That's what the laws of attraction are all about. You are attracting the idea, which is the thing. The thing you want is the idea. And that idea being the substance of what it is that you are wanting, it has to show up. Because if you have the substance, you have the thing. If you have the idea, you have the thing. You're always translating the thing, the thought and the thing into an idea. And the idea, that time has come because it's now. So when you say, well, what about all these people that they're studying laws of attraction and what is it about them? You know, what are they drawing? They're drawing in their own mind. They're drawing from the outside. And they're trying to draw all of this stuff that they think that they don't have. And so, again, you hear her say to them all the time, you keep waiting and waiting and waiting for something to come into your life, and it's already there, but they don't get it. They don't get it because they don't realize the thing that they're waiting for has always been there. It is an idea. And so, therefore, when you go into the bank and you walk up to the counter and you either want to write a check or when you go to the ATM, I don't care whatever it is that's waiting on you, you expect to get what you have right then. Now, you can't get 60 if all you got is 50. That's the way it is in the world. Physically, you got $60, you got $50 in the bank, and you go in and try to get 60, it's going to say no. But when you go into yourself, that's an unlimited amount. You cannot put a limit on what you have. All of the ideas of everything that is necessary for your experience is there. Remember in, I think it's Luke 12, the Father knows that you know these things, you need these things as well. How can the Father know that you need? Because the Father is perfecting and has already provided everything that is needed. As the Son, it's your decision through free will to decide whether you have it or not. And if you decide, I have this, then it has to manifest itself as form because of this that you have is idea. God is all. So you're not waiting. Remember when Jesus, he rebuked the people? They came again after he fed them. I was talking to somebody. Who was that? Somebody last night. And I said, just think about it. I said, Jesus fed somewhere between 10 and 15,000 people on that mountain that day. I said, it was my cousin. And I said, dude, how do you feed 15,000 people? He said, well, because he was God. I said, yeah, but he didn't feed 15,000 people. What he did was realize the truth that there was no such person who was in need. Every need is automatically supplied. How you take 2 pieces of physical fish and break them and say, thank you, Father, and then you start and then 12 guys start walking around passing them out. How do 12 guys get to 10, 15,000 people, children, and all? And then how do they have 12 baskets full left over? How do you do that? No. What happens is you have to see it the way it truly is, and that way you see everybody eating. Everybody has everything that they need because it is his good pleasure to do what? Give you the kingdom. What kingdom? The kingdom of completed ideas. That's what Neville meant when he said the wish fulfilled. Any wish you make is fulfilled immediately right then because there is nothing left that I am come that you would have life and have it more abundantly. You have all there is. It's how you see it is determined. That's what comes in the middle. you, how you see you in the middle, because the you that is perfect can't change. I said this to Kenny the other day. I take a bunch of kids, 5 and 6 years old, that know nothing about football, and take them out on a football field and say, go ahead and play. They don't know what football is, so they'll go out there rolling in the grass and doing some of everything in that field. But yet that field is there for what? Football. It's there for perfection. It is perfectly set out for football. But you can go out there and run around on it. You can put tents on it. You can play cowboys, and you do anything you want to on that field. But that field is set there perfectly for football. Well, your consciousness, you can do anything you want on that consciousness. I don't care. You can be a crook or you can be a good guy. You can go to war. You can do anything you want to on that consciousness. But that consciousness is there to do what? Be perfect. That you would have life and have it for abundance. So what you say, coming from your identity of who you are, that's the truth. So the thing that we're doing is, once we know who we are, our identity, and we start making wishes and we start saying what we say, we have to be totally convinced and convicted that the idea is mine. All things are mine, because all things are ideas. That means I am visioning. The consciousness. My attitude of mind is acting just like heat. It's acting like moisture, like light. It's acting like that. It is causing the seed to grow. Depending on the level of intensity of your conviction is how quickly you can determine whether this thing is going to manifest out here or not. Now let me share this with you. The thing is manifesting in you. You are the one who's deciding how quickly this thing is going to come to pass. You can stop looking out here for fishes and loaves. That's Jesus rebuked them. Said, they came back the next day and they said, we came here, but you weren't here. And Jesus said, yeah, but the only thing you came here for was some more fish. You came here for fishes and loaves. That's not what I have. I have a process. I know how this works. You didn't come here. Michael Orr, crazy as he is, has always wanted to know, how did you do that? How did you, that's what I want to know. Ever since I got into this whole church thing, it was like, well, I could see how Oral Roberts, long time ago, when I was a real young boy, and he'd be going, put his hand on people and go, heal. So, well, how is he doing that? How are these people getting healed? What is this? And he was rolling until he decided, well, I know what I'm going to do. I can get a lot more people healed if I build hospitals. It never dawned on him that the doctors that he's putting in there and all this kind of thing, they don't have that consciousness that he has. They just got, well, something wrong with your liver, I'm going to fix it. Something's wrong with your stomach, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to do this. They're working from the outside. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that when you realize I need to go unto the Father, I'm going to think from that perfect state. He might send you to a doctor. Like I was telling Clara earlier. A man hit me head on one time in my truck, tore it all up. I had all these back pains and all this stuff, and they took me to the hospital because they had to. They couldn't just say, sir, you can go home, because I told them my back was hurt. They did all of these examinations and whatever. At the end of the day, they told me you need a little physical therapy, and they sent me to somebody, and the somebody that I went to was an Asian lady who not only did physical therapy, but she also did acupuncture. So I had no way of knowing how it was worked out, but I knew that this backache couldn't be with me the rest of my life. And so the more developed this Son of God begins in me to know more and more about truth, I quit having to go to the doctor as often as I used to have to go. And then it started, and things just started to work out a lot better. And so as I realized that I'm not looking for fishes and loaves, that's what the Holy Ghost will reveal to you. You're not looking for fishes and loaves. You're looking to know, how does this process work? And the way it works is I realize my identity. I am the Son, but I am also the Father. And the Son, every time I go into the Father to say, you know what, I'm thinking like you think. I'm doing like you do. I'm realizing the perfection of myself. And so as I said, I demand the truth. And bing, the Holy Ghost says, well, here's the truth. Ain't none of that stuff you looking at true. It's how you're looking at it. It's how you're trying. If you're trying to fix it on the outside, then you can forget it. You're going further and further away. But when you come into the Father and you realize it is fixed, when you say, I wish I were out of this situation. I wish this were, I want to see, what you're saying is, I want to see the process. And when you finalize the process within you, guess what you've done? You've taken a snapshot. Like, you know how you take a picture and take a picture of it? You've taken a snapshot of the idea of being free of that situation. That image is cast in what we call the mirror, the mind. And what you see out here is a symbol of your attitude about you. You see the symbol. It might send you with your car. It might look like you took your car to the shop and they did ding, 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 ding. But guess what? Not going to be all of this go round and round and up and down and foolishness and all this. It's going to resolve itself based on gifts that person understands that they have. Think about it. Mechanics. How many different kinds of mechanics are there? You ever been to a bad one? Doesn't quite know what he's doing, and he's going around and around, and maybe it's this and maybe. Or have you ever been to one? The mechanic is convinced that he knows what he's doing. He knows how to do it. He knows it's perfect and this, and this. Boom. But that's you doing that. That's you doing what? Guiding and shepherding yourself into the path of righteousness for the Father's reputation. Ain't no way in the world you want to say, I prayed and asked God to do ding, 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 ding. Then you went to somebody and the ding, 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 ding didn't happen. You went there and the guy didn't know what he was doing. And you say to yourself, well, the church will say, well, it wasn't in God's timing. God doesn't have any timing. It's always now. It's always right now. So, the thing that you desire, the thing that you want, that thing is an idea. It's the desire of your heart. And whether these things are existing right now out here in what we call the manifest world, meaning where you get it from. You see this beautiful car, you go, I'd like to have one of those. Or you don't have a car at all and you're not even looking out here and you say, man, I really wish I had a great car. It does not matter. It does not matter. The point is you are making a wish to have the idea. And when you understand I am the Son of God and my Father is who I am one with this Father, then the desires of my heart have to be made manifest. You see, the idea is the substance. I am continually acknowledging what I just told you, and that means I am acknowledging the substance, the idea of that which I want. And because I am continually acknowledging that the idea is the substance, and that I can at some particular point forget about it. It'll just go away. I may not even think about it 2 hours from now. Especially if I don't see it, if I don't have to deal with it, especially if I go out of the house. You know, the other day, I went to the mailbox. It was Monday. And I said, wow. I was sitting there. I went out and I opened the mailbox, and y'all know what I got out of there. Some bills, monthly bills and what have you. And I take my bills and I sit down and I put them in chronological order, put the date that they're due so that I can go on the computer and go, I'm going to pay this bill, so I don't have to concern myself with it. And I'll pay the rest of the bills let's see, today I pay them through the rest of the month. And I'm done. I don't have to think about bills anymore until June 1st. So when I got those bills out, I said, wow, I sure would like to get a check from BMI. BMI means Broadcast Music Incorporated. And I said, I don't even know what made me think that. It just popped up in my head, and I said, I sure would like to get a check from BMI. Now, BMI being broadcast music means when your music plays on radio stations or when it streams around the world, wherever, they keep track of it, and you get a royalty check because you own the publishing to it. And so I came in, and I was sitting right where I am right now in front of my computer. I'm sitting there, I'm going, wow. You know, let's see, BMI. They go every quarter. So that means the quarter ended in December, so I would have gotten a check in January. So January, February, and March, so that means I would have gotten a check in April. We're in May. So I'm going, oh, wow. So I'm sitting there going, well, so much for that, right? And I forgot about it. On Tuesday, I went to get the mail, and I opened it up, and there's this big, long letter in there. And as it's coming out, it's backwards, and I'm looking at this going, BMI. And I go, well, that's just some information that they're sharing with me about some changes that have been made because the quarter ended in March, and I would have gotten a check and didn't dawn on, So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to open it up right here. I opened up the BMI envelope, and I looked down there. Your royalties for the last quarter, $358.85. And I said, all I did was wish that I had a check from BMI. Coincidence. Well, call it what you want, but a coincidence is two things happening simultaneously. You know, them writing me a check and me saying thank you. What I'm saying to you is you have all authority as the sons of God, and identifying with being the Son of God says, I don't care what it is that I appear to need. I have a vision of it. That means, remember in Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. I had a vision of getting a check. I have a vision of being prosperous. I have a vision of being wealthy. I got a right to have a vision, any kind of whatever I want. I have a vision of not having to have constant pain and sicknesses and these types of things. I used to have allergic reactions to a whole bunch of stuff. I don't anymore. Right now, all I got is every now and then, this is too much information, but I do have a little runny nose. But then I said, well, you know what? I don't want this no more. I want to be walking in this world fearlessly. I want to be wonderful, wondrously made. I want to be exactly what I want. You know what? I've lost all kinds of stuff. But now I want double. If Job got double, I want double what it is that I lost. I have all these different things. And then I was laying there in the bed one morning, and I said, you know what? I don't really have to remember what it is, all the wishes that I have already made. That's a good thing because I have forgotten some of those things. So if I have forgotten some of those things, that means that the seeds are in the ground of consciousness, and the heat and the moisture and the light. That's visioning. I wrote this down. Visioning is knowing and feeling that the cause of manifestation is praying in my name. See, Mark 11:24. Whatever you desire when you pray. Remember that pray is, I think it's sloka. It means to trap. What are you trapping? You're trapping an image. What image? the image of the idea of what it is that you want. So I know what I want has an image because it's an idea. I took a snapshot of it when I said, I wish I had this. You said, well, but suppose I can't formulate what that image is. Well, that's when you don't worry about what comes in the middle. You don't care. Because the point is, you know what you like. You know what you want. You know and have decided who you are. I am from the Son of God. That's my identity. I have a right to go unto my Father. Well, why am I going to the Father? To think from the consciousness of perfection. I have every idea of everything that is necessary in my life experience. There's nothing out here that's not doing what it needs to do. So in other words, when I say, I demand the truth, I'm just demanding the truth about who I am. I'm not demanding no truth about no pictures. I'm demanding the truth of who I am. And who I am, or better yet, again, what comes in the middle? Who I am, or who I think I am, is always manifesting. Did y'all hear that? Who I think I am is always manifesting. If I think that something is not quite right, then I'm going to keep manifesting what? Something that is not quite right, because I'm convinced about who I am and how I'm thinking. This morning, and this is my last little example. Y'all are like this. This is cute. It wasn't cute when it happened, but it's cute when I think about it. I was making some coffee. So I said, oh, wow, I didn't dump the little thing in the basket, the little filter that's sitting down in the basket that holds the old coffee. And I said, oh, well, I forgot to dump that, which I normally do forget to dump that. Now, why do I normally forget to dump that? Because I think I normally forget to dump that. So I'm forgetting to dump that, and so I take this thing and I go, well, okay, I want to make sure I don't do what? Make a mess. I'm gonna put it in the over here in the trash bag. Now the trash bag has come up to the top. It's basically full. I'm going to twist it up, wrap it up, and take it outside and put it on the curb after the class sometime this afternoon when I'm through using it, right? So I'm going to twist it up, I'm going to get it out, and I'm going to do all that. I'm going through all of this, but my main thought is what? I don't want to make no mess with the little coffee filter thing. So I pull a little cup up and go over there to the trash basket. And so I dump the little thing down over in there in the trash basket. But the trash basket, remember I told you it's full, right? What do you think happened? The plastic said, I am not going to go along with you. And it flipped backwards and threw all those coffee grounds down on the floor. And I got ready to call it all kinds of names. And before I could call it names, something just said, well, you thought that's what was going to happen. You thought you was going to make a mess. You were working real hard not to make a mess. And what did you do? Y'all made a mess. And then I said, and I got the little dustpan, something that I remember when Cindy broke it, and she said, Michael, we need another dustpan. That's all right, I'll fix it. So I put a little, took tape down there to make the pan part fit on the stick and taped it up. I said, I'm going to make it, it's going to work. I ain't going to buy no more these things. It's stupid. Well, that was quite a few years ago. And so I'm getting the dustpan, and my little thought said, you know this handle always comes loose from that dustpan. You going to make another mess? And I said, nah, I got this. And I sweep it all up, get the grinds in there. Oh, by the way, the dirty filter fell on the floor too. So I put more grinds on it. So I sweep it all up, I put it up in the trash can, and when I put it up in the trash can, the other part slipped back and threw the coffee grounds back down in there. Only a few other little pieces of trash with it. And then I'm going to pick up, okay, that's all right, I got this thing. And when I go to sweep it up in there, the stick comes up out of the little part of the dustpan. And my head goes, you should have bought a dustpan a long time ago. You said, how many times you going to take this thing? I said, yes, I'm thinking in line with foolishness. And I'm going to stop this. This is crazy. This is just absolutely off the charts. Stuff that you know good well you should have done a long time ago. Now, I'm going to end this on a positive note. Cynthia passed November the 28th, 2021. My daughter said, Dad, she was here, and my sister-in-law. Want me to help you get her clothes together and we can get them all bagged up and you can give them to... Now, I'm going to take care of it. I don't want to do it right now. I'm not procrastinating. I just don't want to do it right now. Okay. She got ready to leave. It was in 2022. I'm sorry, she left in 2021, December, right after Christmas. Because she was here until after the funeral, and she went back home. And so she said, Dad, you sure you don't want? I said, I don't want to do it right now. Okay. January comes. February comes. I go all the way through. She calls me on the phone 3-4 months later. Dad, did you get the clothes together yet? I told you I don't want to do it yet, so I'm going to do it. Okay. We come all the way around. We're in 2022. October 2022, she came home. And, I forgot to tell you this part. My cousin Orlando gave me about 15 great old big boxes from the Home Depot that I was supposed to be putting the clothes in. They rode around in the back of my truck for 9 months, long enough to have a new baby, without the fun part of having a new baby. So now, here it is October 2022. Shauna comes home, and he said, Dad, you ain't got the clothes done yet. I said, Dad, I didn't want to. I'll get them together when I get ready. Okay. She goes back to California. Jamal and I go down to Atlanta. Have a good time. Nikki's 50th birthday. We have a ball. We come back. Here comes November. Well, of course I'm not going to get rid of the clothes now because now I'm on the anniversary of when she passed. So as soon as I get through, now I made a decision. Christmas. I'm gonna get all this done, but I can't do it before the 13th because that was when her funeral was. So I'm gonna do this. So then January comes, and Shauna says, now I'm starting to procrastinate. Because now I done said I'm gonna do it for real. January, February, March, April. Well, watch this, you guys. About 2 weeks ago, I get a letter in the mail. It's from the Vietnam Veterans Association. It is addressed to Mrs. Cynthia Orr. And I open up the envelope, and it says, do you have any reusable clothes? I heard Cynthia's voice say, they're writing me now, would you get rid of my clothes so these people can have other clothes? And it's all kinds of stuff, and then new stuff. It had to be somewhere about, if I estimated all those clothes I gave away, because it was like 6 great big boxes of clothes, which included her mother's clothes. And they both had clothes with tags hanging on them that they had never worn. I swear, boy, you women, y'all get me a dude will go through his clothes real quick. Women got clothes on clothes, shoes. I'm like, good. what in the world? Maybe that's why I didn't want to have to deal with this, because I knew she had too many clothes. And then my next thought was, well, you the one went down there and got that dress barn credit card and gave it to her and told her whenever you think you need something. When does a woman think she needs some clothes? Every week. I ain't got nothing to wear to this. What is all this stuff? Why are my clothes all busted in one little spot and yours all over? You using two clothes? The point is, when I decided I want to get rid of these clothes, and I'm going to do this, and that thing came in, I boxed all those clothes up, and yesterday was the 24th. Day before was it was Tuesday, 23rd. I set all them boxes outside. Truck came and picked them clothes up. Went on, and I said, Michael, well, you finally did what you were supposed to do. Right. What else you supposed to do? And I went in the garage, and I went, oh, God. There's some more clothes out here that I had put out here saying I was going to get rid of. I pulled them clothes out and put them in the bag that's sitting right over there in the corner. I'm going, after this class, and sometime after a while, I'm going down the hill. I'm going to stick them in that yellow box that says clothes. I'm going to put them in there. And I looked at my closet and I went, goodness gracious, look at this. All these clothes on. And the whole idea is I go unto the Father. I make a decision. I decide to think from the perfection of the Father. I am the Son of God. And because I am the Son of God, I have the authority to say what I want to say. And when I say it knowing who I am, it has to obey me. Because that's who I am. Like Noah said, I's all I got. Amen. So it is.